that call.
Born on March 5, 1958 in Detroit, Michigan, Marvin Lawrence Winans grew up surrounded by faith, music, and family. A pastor, singer, and songwriter, he became one of the most influential figures in gospel music and Christian ministry. As a member of the legendary Winans family, his life has been a shining example of how faith and music can walk hand in hand. From church choirs to Grammy-winning performances, and from personal pain to powerful preaching, Marvin Winans' story is one of purpose, resilience, and an unshakable belief in God's calling. A home rooted in gospel tradition. Marvin Winans grew up in a home where faith and music were inseparable. His parents, David "Pop" Winans and Dolores "Mom" Winans, were passionate gospel singers who filled their household with hymns, worship, and love for God. From an early age, Marvin and his siblings, Carvin, Michael, and Ronald, were immersed in a culture that celebrated music not just as entertainment, but as a form of ministry. The family often sang together at church and home, developing a sense of unity through harmony and devotion. Their home became a sanctuary of spirit and sound, where gospel music served as both prayer and expression. This foundation shaped Marvin's view of music as a tool for healing and connection. More than learning melody or rhythm, he learned purpose, how to use music to glorify God and touch hearts. The rise of the Winans. In the late 1970s, Marvin and his brothers transformed their shared faith and musical passion into something extraordinary by forming the Winans. This wasn't just a singing group. It was a movement that modernized gospel music while keeping its spiritual essence intact. The group combined traditional church harmonies with smooth R&B influences, giving gospel a fresh sound that appealed to both young and old listeners. Performing in local churches across Detroit, they honed their craft and developed a reputation for soulful, sincere performances. Their mission was clear: to make gospel music accessible without losing its message of hope and salvation. As their popularity grew, the Winans became known for their sincerity, vocal perfection, and their ability to deliver deep spiritual truths through contemporary sounds. Breaking barriers in gospel music. The 1980s marked a turning point for the Winans as they gained national attention and reshaped the gospel landscape. Their album Let My People Go became a defining moment in gospel history, earning them a Grammy Award for Best Soul Gospel Performance. The project was groundbreaking because it merged soulful melodies with messages about faith, freedom, and perseverance. Songs like Choose Ye and The Question Is touched listeners with their spiritual power and relevance. Marvin's smooth, emotional tenor became the group's signature sound, one that could move audiences to tears or worship. Underneath the modern R&B production lay timeless biblical truths, allowing the group to connect deeply with both churchgoers and mainstream audiences. Through their music, the Winans broke down barriers that had long separated gospel from popular music. They proved that songs rooted in faith could be both artistically innovative and spiritually profound, inspiring future generations of gospel artists. The message of hope, return, and later success. By 1990, the Winans had matured into not just talented performers, but powerful spiritual messengers. Their album Return captured this evolution, blending smooth soul and gospel with heartfelt lyrics about faith, redemption, and perseverance. The standout track, Ain't No Need to Worry, featuring the acclaimed Anita Baker, became a gospel anthem for those facing hardship. The song's message, that God provides strength and comfort in times of trouble, resonated deeply with listeners across backgrounds, winning another Grammy and expanding the group's audience. What made Return special was its balance between contemporary sound and timeless truth. Marvin's vocal delivery carried warmth, conviction, and hope, revealing his spiritual maturity. Through his songwriting and leadership, the Winans offered music that not only sounded beautiful, but also healed hearts. From music to ministry, founding Perfecting Church. Despite his musical success, Marvin felt called to serve God and his community in a deeper way. In 1989, he founded Perfecting Church in Detroit, a ministry that began humbly but quickly grew into a thriving spiritual home for thousands. Marvin's vision was to create a place where worship and service met, where people could experience both spiritual renewal and practical help. Drawing from his musical background, he made worship at Perfecting Church vibrant and soul-stirring, filled with choirs, live bands, and heartfelt praise. Under his leadership, the church became known for its uplifting atmosphere, inspiring sermons, and deep community involvement. Marvin didn't see church as a building, but as a movement of people living their faith out loud. His dual role as pastor and musician allowed him to reach hearts in ways few could through word, song, and service, establishing Perfecting Church as a cornerstone of faith and hope in Detroit. A church that serves the community. Perfecting Church soon became more than a place of worship. It became a force for good in the Detroit community. Marvin believed that true faith required action, so he led the church to create outreach programs that met real human needs. The church organized food drives, youth mentorship, job training, and community support initiatives, helping countless families rebuild their lives. Marvin often taught that the gospel wasn't just something to be preached, but something to be practiced daily. His compassionate leadership encouraged members to live their faith through service, kindness, and empathy. The church's reputation grew as a place where both spiritual and physical needs were met. For many Detroit residents, Perfecting Church became a haven of hope during difficult times. Marvin's vision of combining heartfelt worship with community outreach transformed the church into a model of what modern ministry could achieve: faith in action, healing both hearts and homes. Loss, grief, and faith. After Ronald's death, in 2005, Marvin faced one of the hardest moments of his life when his brother Ronald Winans passed away at just 48 from heart disease. Ronald was not only a gifted singer, but Marvin's lifelong companion in music and faith. His loss left a deep void, both personally and artistically. Yet, even in grief, Marvin turned toward God for comfort. He began preaching about healing, grief, and the promise of eternal life, drawing from his own pain to encourage others. His music during this period became more introspective, reflecting themes of resilience and divine comfort. Through his sermons and songs, he reminded people that faith could bring peace even in sorrow. Marvin's strength during this season inspired many who faced their own losses, showing that pain could be transformed into purpose. His ability to channel grief into ministry deepened his compassion and strengthened his message of hope. Tested by adversity. The 2012 carjacking Marvin's faith was tested again in 2012 when he was carjacked and assaulted in Detroit. The incident left him physically bruised and emotionally shaken, but instead of responding with anger, he chose forgiveness. This remarkable act reflected his deep commitment to living the gospel he preached. Marvin publicly forgave his attackers and prayed for their redemption, turning a painful experience into a lesson in grace. His reaction made headlines and inspired many, showing how faith can overcome fear and bitterness. Rather than retreating, Marvin used the event to speak out about Detroit's challenges: poverty, crime, and the need for compassion in broken communities. His forgiveness became a living sermon on love and mercy, proving that spiritual strength is measured not by avoidance of pain, but by the ability to respond to it with kindness. Through this trial, Marvin's witness to the power of forgiveness touched hearts across the nation. Legacy of faith, music, and service today, Marvin Winans stands as a symbol of faith-driven purpose and perseverance. His journey, from singing hymns at home to leading one of Detroit's most vibrant congregations, illustrates the power of dedication and belief. Through his work in gospel music, he brought sacred sounds to mainstream audiences. Through his ministry, he gave hope to thousands seeking peace and direction. Marvin's legacy lies not just in his awards or achievements, but in the lives he's touched. His story teaches that faith isn't just something to hold. It's something to live out in word, deed, and song. Whether delivering a soul-stirring sermon or singing a gospel classic, Marvin continues to spread his timeless message that God's love redeems, restores, and strengthens. His life remains a beautiful harmony of music and ministry, a testament that service, forgiveness, and faith can change the world. One song, one act of kindness,